CBS News travel editor Peter Greenberg is with us now with more on what this means for everyone and for Boeing. And let's start with the everyone at home. What does this mean for the traveler now?
Well, it's been a problem for the last 7 months because this plane's been grounded since March. It's going to stay grounded more than likely through April of next year. So there's been a lot of sort of disruption in the schedule. Will this plane fly again? You bet. Will it be recertified? Yes, but how quickly? And then how quickly will American confidence return to want to even fly the plane? Because it's not just the U.S. regulators, it's the foreign regulators. They've already made public statements that they're not going to rubber stamp whatever the FAA does. So they're saying, we don't care if the FAA recertifies the plane quickly. We're going to recertify it on our schedule. So imagine somebody wanted to get on that plane knowing that it may not be allowed to land in 40 other countries.
Right. Mm-hmm.
So we're talking at least April.
Why do you think Boeing decided to make this decision now? Why not 3-4 months ago?
Easy to say that now.
Yeah.
The point is they should have, perhaps, because Muilenburg was the public face of the crisis, and it was not handled well. Remember, he was the guy who was lobbying the government and even President Trump not to ground the plane after all these other countries had already done so. Mm-hmm. He was also the one arguing that they should recertify it faster. It got to the point where it was questionable about their own relationship between Boeing and the very agency that was supposed to regulate it. And it got to the point last week where the head of the FAA called Muilenburg in and said, here's a little news bulletin. Boeing's schedule for recertification is not our schedule, so back off. So with all this going on, it was time for a change.
So let me ask you about David Calhoun, the new CEO. He was chairman of the board. Refreshing change or more of the same?
For the moment, it was done to placate the markets and to stabilize the company. Remember, he was actually on a track to become the chairman and the CEO about 15 years ago. He didn't get the job, but he's a member of the board for the last 10 years. He comes from finance. He was running global equity at Blackstone, and now he's got to just right the ship because they've been losing so much money at Boeing, $9 billion at Boeing, just alone, not to mention the jobs. And, of course, you're dealing with all the suppliers and a 20% hit on the company's stock.
You talk about jobs. What about the rest of the airline industry as well as Boeing as we move forward here?
Well, remember, we have 3 airlines in this country that are operating the 737 MAX. They have them, American, United, and Southwest. It's an optics problem right now. So United has already made a public statement that when this plane gets back in the air, if you as a passenger don't want to fly it, they will reaccommodate you with no penalty. Now, that doesn't mean you're going to fly on the plane that you want, on the time that you want, or to the route that you want, but at least they're already addressing a very big public relations problem.
I think this is also a lesson to other airlines who may know about certain issues to really make sure that they have certain things in check and in place.
This gets into the culture of the relationship between the FAA, the manufacturer, and the airlines. It's been way too close for way too long. You cannot dictate to the FAA who's supposed to be regulating you. They're not your partner. They're a regulatory agency.
All right. Peter Greenberg, thank you so much.